Hey everyone, I just felt to jump on here and just share some things that I've been reflecting on from some of the podcasts that have been coming through and things that we've shared and touched on. And yeah, if you haven't listened to them, I think it's okay. It still can be a message that you can yeah, that will relate and help you, and it's kind of where you're at on your journey. Um, so some things that have been shared related to like family members and our human experience and soul evolution and things like that. I feel to just touch on because I want to clarify that where these podcasts are coming from is a place of the soul, like this, it's a soul walk on earth, and when we're still operating strongly from our human aspect and human relation and mind driven and have a strong ego, it's very different. It's a very different way to relate. And it's not about one being better or worse or someone being higher or not. When we talk about our evolution as a soul and someone who's been um, conscious for 10 years, 20 years isn't anything more than someone who's not conscious at all. So I also wanted to clear that up as when we talk even about higher frequencies and lower frequencies, higher realms, lower realms, densities, light, all these kind of things. It's not about good and bad, right and wrong. It's not about a competition. It's not about someone's better than someone else because they have more awareness and all that, because we're all from the same source. We're all an expression of love. We're all a creator being. We're all incredibly amazing. Yeah, I don't even grasp the incredibleness of my own existence, even though I've opened up to more of it than say 5 years ago, 2 years ago, and definitely 15 years ago. Um, yeah, I think when we evolve and we get to each place, we get to see more of ourselves and we can touch even more parts of ourselves and higher ways of being and more consciousness in that pure frequency of just being, where there's absolutely nothingness, where everything exists. And I've experienced that at times for sure. And it's very hard to share what that is. It's really about experiencing it. I find it quite difficult to put it to words, but it's very euphoric. There's no dialogue, there's no mind activity at all. There's no labels or identification or, yeah, even really strong senses. You're just in a peaceful space. So, yeah, the fact that I can access that at times doesn't mean I'm anything more than anyone who doesn't have any clue about that. So these sharings, we're just sharing what we know from the place of looking at from a conscious place, looking at from a soul aspect, rather than relating from the human part, which we have to honor the human aspect as well. We're here in a human body, we're on this planet. It's super important to acknowledge our body and take care of our body. And we've talked about that in many podcasts. It's really been quite a common thread. The embodiment, these higher frequencies, bringing them into the body, grounding them down, anchoring them down, bringing earth, heaven onto earth. There isn't anywhere else to go, or astral surfing and out of body experiences that they're not really necessary. If that's your thing, that's okay. For me, it's these new earth energies. It's really about that. We are here for a purpose, and we can have these experiences while still being in our body. Our body has a huge intelligence, and it's the more we have a relationship with our body, the more we're in touch with the intelligence of the body, and we can remove the densities and then explore these. higher frequencies and realms and, yeah, journeys within the body while staying in the body, wherever we go, and there's a whole higher energies always come from above. The Mother Earth, the planet needs to be honored because she is a higher frequency being. She has huge intelligence. She gives us so much, and we need to honor her and acknowledge her as well, as we need to acknowledge our human body. But for most part, a lot of these expressions and conversations are from a soul perspective. So when we talk about our journey coming into Earth, and when we're young, we get shut down and told off, and our parents act this way and act that way. What we're sharing is not condemning our parents. I love my parents very much. My dad's passed now, um, but my parents were wonderful parents for me, and they have a purpose for me to learn and to experience life from. They also, like all of us, come with trauma and experiences that, yeah, create us and shape us when we haven't necessarily healed all those parts, and everyone's just doing the best that they can with what they have. And yeah, so there's no wrongdoing or looking down on, or when I'm sharing from that place and when my guests are also sharing from that place, because we understand the interconnectedness and the purpose of our journey, and the blessings within these experiences that can be quite traumatic, or can be very traumatic and instrumental and harmful and hurtful, and create a lot of emotions and everything. So when we come into a place of the soul journey, we see the evolution. We see we're a part of that experience, that people play a role for us. We have certain things held in our energy field, and that's where these things are created from. We come here to learn and grow. So if we haven't learned from a lesson in a past life, we bring it into this life, and we get to experience it again. And so we have interaction with people and life experiences that bring that up into the forefront for us to have another go at going into, and learning the lesson and understanding what its purpose is, and therefore seeing the blessing in it, and loving it by, bringing it close, not pushing it away, but holding it close because it's a part of us. And through that, we get to let it go, and send it back to the light, and it leaves the body. And there's many ways of doing that. So yeah, I just wanted to reflect on some of the things we shared, and it can be hard to grasp when someone hasn't really got in touch with their soul in this way, and past lives and things. And you can drop the past life part of it and still have quite a profound shift through just relating to this life. And you can definitely start having small shifts. And yeah, as one of my guests shared, Abigail, just today on the podcast today, about the small steps. The small steps are really important. So just taking small steps gets you on the journey anyway, and then you start to open up to more. And I've had that through my journey. I believe we're having a conscious journey our whole life. I know for a big part of my life I wasn't conscious of that, but it's still part of my conscious journey. And when I became more conscious around 15 years ago, yeah, so many of my perceptions and ways of relating have just changed. As I've opened up more to myself, and certain things have morphed and shifted, and something that served me really well is no longer serving me. It doesn't resonate anymore. And that's what this is about as well. It's finding the resonance with things. So if someone's sharing something and it has a resonance with you, then it's good to explore what that is. If it doesn't resonate, it's good to just walk away, or ask, okay, well, what is happening for me? Is I just feel like, yeah, it's not for me, or is there some kind of emotion happening that show me something that, yeah, there's a disharmony within my field in some way that this is showing coming up. Because we have things in our field, and our early life is really quite a very vital part of what we're experiencing in our adult life. So we get into situations and we can be triggered by a certain situation, and we can look at, say, the person, how they're expressing or what they're saying. And this isn't condoning how say they're yelling at you, being violent or hurtful or something. It's not condoning the action, but it's seeing that whatever that emotion arises is actually something that I believe was already in your field. It was already there from most likely your childhood, and this moment is just bringing it to the surface. So it's good to recognize that that's what's happening rather than just looking at the situation in the present moment. And you can say to the person, stop, it's not okay. If you're able to do that and say, maybe they could do something different. But what I'm talking about is going back to ourselves and then just feeling what emotion has arise. What am I feeling? So that's showing me something that's here to actually help me grow, because I've come here to experience that. And if I can go into it, I can learn what its message is. If I feel into the body and where it is and I communicate with that, the body can help me to understand and know what it is, where it's coming from, and then I can go into the journey of releasing it. Once I learn the lesson, it's even though I say that, that is a part, there's also an energetics now where we don't have to go so deeply into these past experiences as well. There's a lot of supportive energy where we can move through things really quickly and fast. What it all really takes is us to say yes to ourselves. That's really what it is. It's about the willingness to want to change, to do something different, to want to live more in harmony with ourselves and the life we're creating. And that does take self inquiry and responsibility and doing the work, as we can call it. And then you start to get more in touch with that innate being within you, and relating to life from a totally different perspective. And I feel, we're in a place where a lot of us know why we're here, in the sense of it's a beautiful shift happening on the planet, for the planet, within humanity and for humanity, and for the whole cosmos and everything that exists. And we're finding our way within that. And some, are further on their journey than others, and some are assisting in being more out there, and some are more closer to the land or in closed circles or things like that. It's not really important how and why. It's just finding that journey within yourself and what speaks to you, and following that path that is heart led, dropping into the heart, and having a soulful walk on earth, and being open that, yeah, my path's probably going to change at some point. I'm going to stop doing this thing, or I might be a counselor for a certain time, and at some point that shifts into doing energy healing, and then at some point that shifts into working with the land and doing grid work, or creating retreats and events, or it can just morph and shift in all different kinds of ways. Becoming an artist or a musician, or something. Yeah, it's just really, I feel, for me, having questions of things is super empowering. It's not, I'm stupid, I don't know. It's actually, I'm not aware of something that my higher self already knows and is. So when I ask that question, I can invite that possibility in, and that could come from all different avenues. It could even come from a feather on the ground or an insect walking past me, a conversation I have with a friend. I could be at the supermarket and hear someone else's conversation. It could be just one word that can have a wee aha moment and start to shift. It, it's really about just being open for that possibility, to start to realize, oh, I don't really agree with that, or I have a funny feeling about that. Inquire that, ask questions. What is that? What's going on for me? What is that about? And just be open. Just be open for the possibility of something new coming into your field. Because when we do ask, the universe responds, the field responds. We're always working within a field, and a lot of things have already manifested within that field, and we don't see them in our reality. But when we start to shift our reality, they come into a reality. Start to shift our awareness and ask these questions, we tap into a field that's on some level already there. I mean, there's so many so many things I could share, and it can be a bit of a dance. And um I mean, we're infinite beings, so there's infinite possibilities, so there's infinite amount of information and ways of relating that I could share, and I can share what I know, what I'm aware of, and what I've experienced. And within that, I could share things where I say it a certain way and say this is really helpful for you, and then another time I could say it another way and say this is really helpful for you, and those two things seem very contradictory. But that's just because we're different beings and we express different ways and we journey different ways, and we just find what resonates. And one thing will resonate with someone and another thing will resonate with someone else. And that's all it is. It's just finding what's in resonance and knowing that you can ask these deeper questions. And it's not always easy, of course, this journey, because a lot of densities and a lot of our beliefs and everything come up to the surface, and we start to go, well, actually, I thought it was like this, but it's not at all. And then within that, you kind of lose yourself and go, well, who am I and what do I believe? And that can be scary and, yeah, quite frightening, in fact, in some ways. But that's it. That's the willingness. That's the courage, and it's really worth it. I really, know it's worth it for anyone who wants to go on this journey of, yeah, finding who they truly are, asking these deeper, meaningful questions. And it's not about being all serious about it. The spiritual world can become serious. But really, in essence, we are like playful children. We're just being curious. Like if you think about when you were a child and those moments when you really felt good and happy and playful and curious and you did silly things, that's our innate nature. And that invites so much joy and expression and love and creativity into our world. And we can do that as adults. We can be really curious and playful in that way as well. And it's really just that openness to go into those places that may feel foreign, and yeah, in certain circles where we're comfortable and we've often been in, if we're feeling not something's a little bit off or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here because I was kind of feeling to just do like a 10-minute wee yarn. I'm not sure actually how long I've talked for. So yeah, just thank you for listening in, and I will continue to share things as they come up, as well as having the guests on the show. Um, I will share my journey like a book as well, because I have had a huge amount of life experiences, and I have a lot of beautiful ways of relating with those experiences that I feel can help a lot of people, and have already with when I've shared in other platforms and ways and gatherings. So yeah, thank you for joining me. Know that you are actually more than you could ever believe you are. You are from source. You are creator. You are love. and to know that life here is a beautiful place to be, and we all came with a higher purpose. We're all uniquely ourselves, and we have something really important to share with the rest of everyone else and the planet. And the more of us that step into that and say yes to that, the easier it gets. The more we assist each other to be living in harmony and peace and love, and being able to play and getting out of instructions and control. So yeah, I hope this is received in whatever way it is for you. Trust in that, and yeah, grateful for you joining me. And I wish you well on your journey, and we'll see you next time.